Live from the cable show, this is a special edition of Opening Bell with Maria Bartiromo.
Welcome back. We are coming to you live today from the cable show in L.A. TiVo topping 4.5 million subscribers, surpassing the previous record number reached back in 2006. Tom Rogers is with me. He is the CEO and president of TiVo. Tom, good to see you. An old friend.
Yes, we go way back in business news
from
together.
CNBC early days, and your brilliance with your colleagues.
Congrats on your Sunday show also. I TiVo the hell out of it.
That's great. Thank you so much. So TiVo, around 1 million of those 4.5 million subscribers are in the U.S., the rest are in Europe. Tell me where the growth comes from at TiVo and characterize that growth for us right now.
Well, we're back in a big way, as that sub number that you quoted states. And we're growing well both in the United States and Europe. In the U.S. now, believe it or not, a couple years ago, people were saying, TiVo, cable will never embrace it. Today, 18 of the top 25 operators are working with TiVo for us to power their advanced television play. In Europe, we have a few big operators and are growing over there. In the UK, for instance, there's one major cable operator, Virgin, owned by Liberty Global, and TiVo is about half of that cable footprint in the UK today.
So how come you haven't been able to duplicate that success that you've had with Virgin elsewhere in the European market? I mean, that is one area that people say, look, this has worked really well. Can you duplicate that throughout Europe?
Well, Europe's a little behind the U.S. in terms of cable operators making those decisions, but we have a major deal in Spain with the largest operator there doing very well, rolling out TiVo, the largest cable operator in Scandinavia, Com Hem, where we've just implemented a very advanced television play with cable there. We're in discussions with many other operators in Europe, so Europe is actually going pretty well for us.
Let me ask you about Netflix. We were talking about it during the commercial break. Friend or foe? We spoke with Matt Blank about it as well. How do you integrate Netflix into this whole package, which you just mentioned to me? You can have everything when you have TiVo. Talk to us about that. What's the actual offering?
Well, friend or foe is a great way to put it, because the way cable unfortunately let so-called over-the-top services like Netflix develop, it was foe. This is growing up away from cable. All this choice that cable used to stand for having the most of is now going to be elsewhere, not part of cable.
Right.
And in Europe, starting with a couple of key cable operators over there, we brought Netflix into their offering. U.S. operators weren't able to do that yet, but we announced just a couple days ago that we are bringing Netflix now to cable in the United States to allow Netflix to be offered by cable operators here, integrated into what they provide consumers. And so Netflix now can be friend to the cable industry, not foe, and cable once again can stand for having the most choice, the most comprehensive offering. And in the end of the day, I think this is going to be what's going to make cable the best play for consumers in the television space.
Yeah, but I mean, at some point, do people say, well, look, why would I want to watch it here when I can get it much cheaper here? I mean, that's the whole friend-foe story.
Well, think of the music world. Would you want to have separate music players for different kinds of music?
That's a great point.
Consumers have gotten very comfortable with the idea that they can get anything they want to listen to in one easy-to-use device, where you can search for anything, have your own personalized list. Television didn't develop that way. You needed multiple boxes, multiple remotes, multiple user interfaces, searching for things different places. You didn't know what was where. We solve for that. We bring the music model to television. So in one place, you can get on-demand, your regular channels, TV everywhere, over-the-top services like Netflix. You don't have to know what's on where. You can search across anything, personalize it any way you want to, create the mobility on your smartphone or your iPad in a way that gives you total convenience across all that content. That's what we bring to the cable industry, and that power of putting everything together in that single one box, one solution, I think is what's going to power cable forward in a way that's going to make it break away from its competitors.
What's the mobility play? I mean, you're mentioning, TV everywhere, anywhere. Is there more of a mobility play at TiVo?
Yes, TiVo has a really great mobility play. Think of this. The things you care most about are the things you record. Those are the things that people really want to have. If you're a cable subscriber today and you want to get your recordings on your smartphone or your iPad, the only way you can move your recordings from your set-top to that is through TiVo. And that's a huge convenience.
That is huge.
And that has what has termed our new product TiVo Romeo.
Yeah.
It gives you truly the ability to roam with your favorite programming, your recordings, wherever you are. That we know is increasingly something that consumers hold dear, because it's not just getting all your content, which we're now allowing with the integration of Netflix for cable to stand for, but it's being able to get all your content wherever you are, whenever you want.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Let me ask you about some of the news items of the day. The Time Warner Cable, Comcast deal. How does that impact TiVo?
Well, we're seeing consolidation both here and around the world. I think that's going to continue to be the case. A lot of people said when Liberty Global bought Virgin, what's that going to mean for TiVo? And what it has meant for TiVo is now we are working with a major European operator in a much more strategic way, with a much more strategic relationship than we ever had. We're hopeful that in the U.S. we could develop something equivalent with Comcast. Comcast has a wonderful TiVo Romeo offering. If you're a Comcast customer today, you can get all the Xfinity programming, all of their proprietary content integrated into TiVo Romeo in a wonderful experience. And Comcast announced they are rolling that out to 100% of their current footprint. We're obviously taking a hard look at the merger and seeing what the consequences are for the kind of choice for consumers we represent.
Right.
And we're hopeful that we can come up with a way to work with Comcast that even more choice will be available.
All right, we'll leave it there. Tom, great to talk with you as always. Good to see you.
Maria, great to see you.
Good
Thanks
luck
for having me
on the floor here at the Cable Show, and we'll see you soon.
Great to see you.
Tom Rogers is the CEO at TiVo.